I have a cultivation world. 9 Chapter 9 Eastern Wilderness _1. Young man, why are you in the cave dwelling of my master? The eldest of them was the first to come to his senses, raising the black flag in his hand, he asked with a frown. On hearing this, Chen Mobai felt a rush of dismay, his face showing embarrassment. According to the rules of the Immortal Sect, without the host's permission, one should not probe the cultivation level of others. Therefore, he didn't know the cultivation level of these two, but judging from the fluctuation of spiritual power, they should be similar to him. The way this old and young pair entered the cave dwelling indicated they had the correct key. Although he had unintentionally entered the water mansion, he had indeed occupied this treasure trove for cultivation for a few days. Now having been caught by the owner's disciples, he felt somewhat embarrassed. Please don't blame me, elder. I entered unintentionally and will leave immediately. Chen Mobai wanted to leave, but seeing the strange behavior of the elder and the younger in the water mansion, a thought flashed through his mind and he paused his movements. I see, there's no sign of damage to the Azure Water Array. The young man said he entered unintentionally, so it must be true. The old man waved the black flag in his hand, inspected the large formation guarding the entire cave dwelling, confirmed that the prohibitions in the 3 side halls were intact, then sighed in relief, and nodded at Chen Mobai. I will deactivate the formation and you can leave, young man. In the midst of the conversation, Chen Mobai saw at the entrance of the main hall, a light dome covering the water mansion was manifesting an exit, 2 meters in diameter. However, the water flow outside did not rush in, as if blocked by an invisible force. Under the gaze of the older and younger pair, and their obvious intention to send him off, Chen Mobai kept his doubts in mind, yet nodded and walked to the entrance. Just as Chen Mobai was about to cross the barrier of the dome, a cyan radiance exploded from his clenched hand like splashing ink, transforming into a set of wooden armor that enveloped his entire body. Crack! 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 3 yellow-brown long needles appeared out of nowhere, the tips emanated a dark yellow glow, they stuck into the wooden armor in front of Chen Mobai. Just for trespassing in someone's house, you use such a vicious attack. Is there no law anymore? Chen Mobai turned back and saw an ordinary-looking boy holding a needle box in one hand and forming a seal in the other, his eyes were cold. He was shocked and furious. The Yuan Star, governed by the Immortal Sect, abides by the laws of the previous civilization. Murder is a heavy crime. If his Wood Armor Talisman was not pre-activated and was automatically stimulated by the attack, he would have instantly died on spot. Attack now. Seeing his magic artifact being blocked, and Chen Mobai was in a battle-ready state, the boy in brown clothes worried about the possibility of mutual destruction. Although he had reached the 6th level of Qi cultivation, he didn't want to waste too much spiritual power before breaking the prohibition. Therefore, while taking out 3 more long needles from the needle box, he simultaneously yelled at the old man. Alright, see my divine thunder. With a loud yell from the old man, a stern light flashed in his eyes. He waved his black flag towards Chen Mobai, and then from his sleeve, he threw out a glowescent talisman. However, this talisman was aimed at the boy in the brown robe. With a loud clap of thunder, the boy in the brown robe cursed and then forcefully reversed his spiritual power, diverting the flying needles, originally aimed at Chen Mobai, towards the old man. Juxtaposed with Chen Mobai's puzzled face, the boy in brown clothing was hit by the old man's divine thunder, and he fell unwillingly. His flying needles were blocked by the power of the water mansion array controlled by the old man with his black flag. The sound of ding, ding, ding resonated as the flying needles fell onto the floor tiles, the tips of the needles sinking in, demonstrating their sharpness. Haha, mere inheritance from the third-rate flying needle sect, and yet you even want to share the treasures of this secret realm equally with me. This is after all the lawless eastern wilderness. In the old man's laughter, he once again swung his black flag, controlling the Azure Water Array trying to kill Chen Mobai. However, the force of the Wood Armor Talisman had not yet been exhausted, blocking the oncoming water waves. What place is this? Eastern Wilderness? Among the 36 blessed lands and 72 wonderland of the Immortal Sect, there is no place with this name. Chen Mobai was originally engrossed in the cruel, lethal conflict between the old man and the boy, but the burning hot sensation from the consumption of the Wood Armor Talisman's spiritual power in his hand immediately snapped him back to reality. The old man's cultivation level was unknown, but the black flag in his hand was the core of the Water Mansion array, capable of controlling the force of the whole formation. Although this Azure Water Array did not have any lethal force, if Chen Mobai got trapped like the boy in the brown clothing and took one blow from the Thunder Talisman, he would undoubtedly meet the same fate, dying beyond doubt. At the critical moment of life and death, Chen Mobai didn't hesitate and ignited the Green Arrow Talisman that was ready for use. Sizzle. A total of 5 cyan-long arrows appeared out of thin air like vines, covering the area where the old man was at an extremely high speed. Humph, if we were outside the Water Mansion, I would definitely avoid it. The old man chuckled, waving his black flag confidently. The power of the Azure Water Array was stimulated and formed ripples, causing the 4 cyan arrows that were about to land in front of him to be suspended in midair. Young man, how did you cultivate up to the realm of Qi Cultivation level 5? Your aim is pretty bad. Just as the elderly man was about to laughably seal the entrance, totally trapping Chen Mobai, his face froze. Because he noticed that the Azure Water Array was out of his control, and then he saw the light dome hole that was about to be closed stop shrinking. But, instead of escaping the Water Mansion Array through this hole, Chen Mobai, who was supposed to, stopped at the entrance, took out 2 Green Arrow Talismans again, coldly watching him. How did this kid know this array flag only protects? The old man glanced uneasily around him. Turns out the Green Arrow Talisman of Chen Mobai, of the 4 spiritual arrows aimed at him, were just a diversion to attract his attention. The other one, seemingly misfired, landed precisely on an array base not far from him, breaking the array flag on it. The Azure Water Array, though a rank 2 formation, did not have any defenses against attacks from within. Chen Mobai, who had thoroughly understood the Water Mansion, used this point to break one corner of the array flag, causing the smoothly running large array to stall immediately. The old man turned pale. He looked around the 3 side halls behind the Water Mansion, but felt that the talisman in Chen Mobai's hand was about to be ignited. He gritted his teeth and attempted to withdraw. His cultivation level was merely at the 3rd level of Qi Cultivation. If it weren't for the black flag in his hand which allowed him to control the Azure Water Array, he wouldn't dare attack Chen Mobai or the boy in the brown clothing. But at this moment, the whole sky was filled with the flickering of cyan radiance. Chen Mobai's 2 Green Arrow Talismans had been activated, 10 spiritual arrows formed in the sky, aiming at the old man. Young man, no, esteemed elder, please spare me,